In this video, I'm going to talk about how to use for loops and for each loops in JavaScript. So in the previous video, we have learned how to make an array, and we will work with arrays today, and we will loop through an array, and I'll show you how to do that. So before we do that, you see on my HTML page, I have this age1 element. I have given it the ID of print here. So let's select that element with JavaScript. So I'm going to zoom in and I'm going to say let, and you can name it my age1, for example, because it's an age1 element, and then equals to document dot get element by ID, just like that. And let's open two parentheses and two single quotes. So inside of the single quotes, we are going to print or copy that ID. So we are going to copy this print here, alright? And we are going to paste it inside of these single quotes and add a semicolon to the end of it right here. So you see it? This is what we have, and we have stored it inside of the my age1 element. So now let's say that there are some people and we want to say hello to them. So to do that, I'm going to say my age1 dot inner HTML equals to, and you add a string, so add two single quotes. You know, some people use double quotes, but I use single quotes. So it's up to you whichever you want to use, but I'll use two single quotes like I did here. All right, so let's say hello Musala. All right, so we are going to say hello to people. Hello, dear Ronaldo. Oops, what happened here? Sorry. So see Ronaldo. Hello Messi. You see, I have typed in hello a couple of times. So hello, I don't know who is a great player all the time. I'm going to say Roberto Carlos. So whenever I type in R, that happens. Okay, so Roberto Carlos. So you see, it took me some time to say hello to every one of them. All right, so you can see we have printed hello to everyone. So I said hello to all of them, but it took me some time to say hello to all of them. So there is a better way to approach this and to run some code a couple of times. So I'm going to talk about the for loop. This is where for loop comes handy. So the for loop is a way to repeat a block of code a specific number of times. It's like saying do this thing over and over until I tell you to stop. For example, say hello over and over until I tell you to stop. All right, so we can do that. I'm gonna get rid of this line, and before I do that, I'm going to just comment it out. So I just selected all of it and I pressed Control ? And it made it a comment. So it's not going to work. It's not going to run. So if you're on a Mac, you press Command ? So you highlight whatever you want and then you press Control ? You see, to make it a comment and uncommented. So this is a trick that I wanted to show you. I have shown you the previous videos, but I just wanted to show you again. Why not learn it, all right? All right, so now let's comment this one out, and let's make a for loop. So to make a for loop, you start with the word for, and then you add two parentheses. So two parentheses, just like that. So I'm going to add some space here. So space doesn't matter in JavaScript, but I'm going to make some space here. So the first thing that we are going to do is that we are going to make a variable. So I'm going to say my variable. So my variable, and we are going to set it to 0. So equals to 0. And you add a semicolon after that 0. And then you say my variable. Let's say that I want my variable to print up to 25. So I'm going to say my variable is less than or equals to 25, add another semicolon, and right after it, we are going to increment it. So to increment it, you can say my variable plus plus, and we have used this in the previous video. So I'm going to get rid of this empty space. All right, so you see we are still inside of the parentheses. This is the initialization. So this part is initialization, or the start of our for loop. The one in the middle is a condition. So in this case, I'm saying my variable is less than or equals to 25. So my variable will run all the way to 25. So I said less than or equals to 25. So it's going to include 25. I'll make it less than sign later, just in a moment. And this plus plus means add 1 to this variable every time. So it's going to run it. And then we are going to add 2 curly braces. So these curly braces is the code that is going to be run. So now let's select this age1 element again. So I'm going to say my age1 dot inner HTML equals to my variable. And as you notice, now if you view it on a browser, it's going to show you 25. So does that mean our code is incorrect? No, actually it has printed 0 all the way to 25 in the same element. But now we will have to use a trick to print all of these numbers. So I'm going to add a plus before this equal sign. All right, so before this equal sign, I'm going to add a plus there. And as you notice on the browser, it's going to print all of those numbers. So let's go to the next line after each number. I can add a plus sign here and add the break, and it will basically, you see, it's going to print all of those numbers. So if you want to go up to 100, you can change this to 100. But before I do that, I'm going to change this condition to less than 25. So less than 25, you see it's going to 24. It's not going to go to 25 because I'm saying less than this number. But if I say less than or equals to, it means include 25, but stop at 25. And if you want to start, for example, let's say that I want to start from 10. So I can change the variable, the start. So this is the start part. And actually, let me add some comments here. So let me add some comments. So this part is the start. All right. So this is the start. And this one right here is a condition. And right here, this one is the part that will add 1. So add 1 to variable. Okay, so sometimes if your condition is incorrect, it crashes VS Code, but it's fine. So now let's loop through an array. So to loop through an array, what we are going to do is that we are going to line 5, and we are going to say let my friends, all right, so my friends equals to, and you open 2 square brackets. So inside of the square brackets, you add these names. So I'm going to just add them. So I'm going to add 2 single quotes. Let's say Musala, C Ronaldo. So C Ronaldo. Oops, what happened? Sorry. And we have Messi. We have Roberto Carlos. So Roberto, okay. And add a semicolon to the end of it. So now let's say that we want to loop through this array and say hello to every one of them. I'm going to make a for loop again. I'm going to get rid of this for loop. I'm going to comment this one out. I'm going to make a new one so you can practice along with me. Okay, so I'm going to right below it actually. I'm going to move this code down. Okay, so I'm going to say for again. You remember I told you to open the for and type in for. Then you open two parentheses. So inside of the parentheses, you use a variable name. So I named it my variable in the last time, but I'll call it I this time. Why not? It's easier. Everyone use it. So I is equals to 0 and add a semicolon there. So start at 0. Then I can say I, which is the name of the variable, is less than my friend's dot length. So dot length. You add a semicolon there, and then you say I plus plus, and then you add the curly braces to run the code. So this code will run. So inside of these curly braces, what we can do is that we can say my age 1 again to select that age 1 element on the page. So my age 1 dot inner HTML equals to, if I add the name of the array there, so my friends, you see it's going to add the names of every one of them. So my friends, what if I add this I? So if I open two square brackets and type in I, it's going to say Roberto Carlos, just like that. So it's printed all of them right here, but let's use our trick. You add the plus sign, and it's going to add all of them here. And let's say hello all. Let's say hello to all of them. So I can add an empty string right here that says hello, and I can add a plus. So you see it says hello Musala, hello everyone. So it says hello to all of them. But let's add an empty break there. So I'm going to say break, just like that, plus this array. So you see it says hello after it. And let me add a space here. So after hello, I want another break. So okay, so I have hello here. So what's going on here with my code? Okay, I'm going to move this break, move these breaks. I don't want these breaks here. So I can move this break from here and get rid of this one actually, and add it to the end of it. So plus that break. This one should be inside of the quotations. So we have looped through this array, and we have said hello to each one of them. Let's say that we want to tell them you are a great player. So you are a great player. This is going to say you are a great player to all of them. So this is how you loop through an array, everyone. And right now I'm going to get rid of this array. So I'm going to comment it out. All right, I'm going to uncomment this one out for our array. And let's go to the ForEach loop. So ForEach is a method used on arrays. It's like saying do this thing for every item in the array. So now we are going on line 7. I'm going to say my friends because I have them inside of this array. So I'm going to say my friends dot for each, and then you open two parentheses. Inside of these parentheses, we are going to add a function. So this is a regular function. So function, and then you open two parentheses, add something there. So I'm going to say x, and then you open two curly braces. So this is just like an actual function, and we have used it in the previous videos. And now let's say that we want to print something here. So I'm going to say my age one dot inner HTML equals to X. So you see, again, it's going to print them out here, but if I use our trick, the plus equals, it's going to print them to the page. So my age one inner HTML plus this X. So whatever this X is. So this X refers to our array. And now let's say hello to all of them. Again, so I'm going to add an empty string. It says hello plus X. So you see it says hello to all of them, but let's add an empty space after it. And let's go to the next line after each hello. So I'm going to add a break there. So hello Musalla, hello. So I'm going to add another break after the X. So you see we have said hello to every one of them using ForEach. Now you can use this ForEach loop to do something to two different things on a page. And I'm going to show you how to do that. So now I'm going to comment this one out. And let me move it down and let me go to the HTML page. So let me add two elements here. So I'll keep this age one here. It says, hello, I am age one. And let's add an age two underneath it. It says, hello, I am age two. And now let's give each of them a class name. So I'm going to say class headers. So let's say that these are headers. So I'm going to say headers. And I'm going to copy this class name and add it to the next one as well. So you see both of them have this class name. And to select these two, we can go here and declare a variable to let my element equals to document dot query selector all, and then you open two parentheses and two single quotes. So inside of the single quotes, we are going to add a dot. So after the dot here, you add the name of that headers. So I have given it the same class name. So I'm going to copy that and paste it here. So headers. Just like that. And let's use ForEach loop to apply colors to each one of them. So I'm going to say ForEach, and then you open two parentheses. So inside of the parentheses, just like I told you, you add a function, and then you open two parentheses, you type in X or whatever. So you add a parameter there. So I'm going to say element here. So it's going to attach this function to all elements, and then you open two curly braces. So we can say element dot style dot color equals to red. You see, this is not going to work this way because I am not using my elements here. So I'll have to attach this ForEach to this array. And to do that, I can say my elements here, my elements dot ForEach, and you see I'm using this function to attach this tile to these two elements. So you see I've changed them to red, or I can change it to blue, or I can change the font size. So element dot style dot font size equals to 20 pixels. It should be dot. You see it's now 20 pixels. If I change this one to 50 pixels, it's going to change them both to 50 pixels. Alright, so I think I'm going to stop here for this video.